Hello, this is the Ramblings of an Indisciplined Mind podcast for Thursday, November 3rd, 2016. So what's going on today? What's going on in my life if I'm following the format? Well, I'm working on about 3 hours sleep because we stayed up last night to watch the Cubbies win the World Series. That was fun. That was fun to do. But then the alarm went off and I had to get up and I had the nano. So, yeah, that was kind of yikes. And then, as those of you on the video can tell, I have a new fedora, which I'm loving. This is another Indiana Jones model. I hope that shows up. I think it does. It says Indiana Jones on it. It's got an Indiana Jones pin on the bow. I think. Yeah, it does. This one I think is like more like it's bigger. I'm thinking it's more like a Temple of Doom or something. Part of the reason I wanted it, you know, the hat I had, we bought in Disneyland. Oh God, I don't know. Probably close to 20 years ago now when we went to Disneyland, and they put it in a bag. And I thought about, I tried to protect it. We drove. I tried to protect it on the drive home, and it was in the back window, and it got smashed a bit. And it was never, it was never quite the same. After that, the brim was always every year. I always had to be fussing with the brim and whatnot. And it was a bit of a pain in the arse. But I live with it. It was a good hat. I enjoyed it. It fit me well. It fit me pretty much perfectly. And then I shaved my head, and it was a little bit loose. I ended up putting some spacers on the inside in the hat band, and that took care of that. But so I decided it was past time to get a new hat. It looked not good. I mean, it's. It kind of looks like Indy's hats look, at the end after going through the desert and sweating in it, and it didn't look really great. So I decided to go looking to see what there was, and of course I went to the font of all products, Amazon, and I found this one, and this was, I think it was about $30, so the price was pretty good. I paid $40 for the one that I had. And one of the things I like about it is that this thing is water repellent, and more importantly, it's crushable. So it should snap back pretty well if it ever gets crushed. I'm not going to crush it on purpose just to test it, but it will get crushed at some point, and it should be, at least more resistant than just a plain wool hat. So I'm cool. And this thing fits perfectly. It's nice and snug on my head. If I grew some hair back, I might have to get a bigger size, but I'm actually not planning on growing my hair back, so I'm cool. I'm very happy with it thus far. It's a nice, this is obviously a fall and winter hat. It's nice and thick. It will keep the noggin warm during the cold winter months, I think. And it's Indiana Jones, and it's a fedora, so go me. I'm happy about that. So, when I was a kid, I had grandparents, that happens. And, for the most part, they were grandma and grandpa. If we were referring to one set or the other, we would call my dad's parents, Grandma, Grandpa Hughes. Or if we were referring to my mother's parents, they were Grandpa and Grandma T. And that was because my Grandpa T, wanted us to call him Grandpa T. So we called him Grandpa T, and then Grandpa T just kind of got it. Now, if we're talking to her face to face, we just call her Grandma. But if we were referring to her, we call her Grandma T. My grandfather, my Grandpa T, he actually died when I was in the second or third grade, I think it was. So we didn't have to call him Grandpa T for very long, unfortunately. But you know, it was a little strange to me when I got married, and my wife had a grandma or a grandmother, and she had a nana, and I thought that was different, you know. So the grandmother on her father's side was called Nana. That's what she went by, and then on her mother's side it was just Grandma or Grandma Dixon. We felt the need to differentiate. I don't know why, because Nana and Grandma aren't the same thing. And yeah, it was different for me, but it was fine. You know, I adapted. But I've noticed lately that it seems to be a thing. I'm assuming it's a thing. I see it everywhere. That when you become a grandparent, you know, picking your mode of address, what is going to be your grandparent name? It's, you know, they'll say I'm going to be a grandfather or whatever, but you know, pretty soon they're, you know, it's Mimi or Mama or Pee-Pa or Poppy or, you know, something that's, you know, kind of unique but yet kind of semi-grandma-ly. But at the same time, it's kind of weird because I'll look at these words and go, so is that like a grandmother? What is that? What is Meemaw? Is that a grandmother? I guess it's a grandmother. I don't know. I just found that weird. Now for my great niece, I think my brother and sister-in-law, they've got something like this going on. I forget what it is. You know, the name that I like the best is the one that her mother on the other side, and they're Spanish speaking. You know, she just calls herself Abuelita, and I'm probably mangling that, but you know, that sounds exotic and musical, and I love it. And all it means is grandmother or granny in Spanish. But it's, you know, that one's kind of cool. But you got to be kind of a Spanish speaker to pull it off, you know. So I was just thinking about that today, about, you know, whatever just happened to being good old grandpa or grandma. We'll see what happens if I ever get that honor to be a grandparent. At this point, it's not looking likely, but who knows? Who knows what the future may bring? But that's really all I was thinking about today. You know, my brain isn't kicking over enough for any kind of weighty topic. So you get non-weighty topics, I guess. So I will be back tomorrow, quite likely from the studio, and I'll be talking to you then. So be seeing you.